Hello, my name is Tim, my company is Sports and Touring, and it is my great pleasure to show you this beautiful Porsche 911 997 Gen 2. It's a car which we retailed 3 years ago, and it's been as well looked after in those last 3 years as it was by its previous owners. It's in great condition, with good service history and just serviced by Northway Porsche, ready for its new owner. Let's take a look around. So you will have to forgive me if I find it a little difficult talking about the Porsche 911. And the reason for that is simple. We are fundamentally Jaguar F-Type specialists. And yet I must acknowledge that the Porsche 911 is a superior sports car. That perhaps shouldn't be surprising given that the 911 has been in production for a very, very long time. Many years, many decades, many revisions of the design over which Porsche's renowned design and engineering teams have been able to refine and develop and improve upon what was already in its first generation a world-beating sports car. And as we look back at 911 development over the years, we can see some iconic moments and some iconic generations. And I think it would be fair to say that amongst the discerning 911 buyers, the 997 Gen 2 is a car of particular note. It's a car before the technology became overwhelming. The connection between driver and road is still largely mechanical more than electronic. It's a car which retains the exact original Porsche 911 body lines without interference or hindrance. It's a car which perhaps epitomizes the things that make the 911 look so good. Those large, broad haunches, the stylish engine cover at the rear, the straight lines from the bottom of the windows down the bonnet are all hallmarks of the 911. And then we come to this particular one, looking genuinely stunning in Carrara white with black leather, with a number of features and options which I think were very carefully chosen for the car when it was specified from the factory. And in recent ownership, it's benefited from beautiful refurbished red brake calipers, freshly refurbished 19-inch alloy wheels, and that's a full factory refurbishment. And the last but one owner took the very clever step of having the erosion pads on the rear haunches there refinished in matte black. And that lends a very particular and purposeful aesthetic to this car. It's in stunning condition all over. The bodywork, the glass, all of the equipment is in fabulous order. And as I say, the wheels are simply perfect. It drives perfectly. It has gone through all of our interstock inspections flawlessly, and it will be a great pleasure to find its next home. Let's take a look inside. The car's supplied, of course, with 2 remote key fobs on Porsche keyrings and the original owner's book pack. And unlocking the door enables us to take a look in this beautiful cockpit. A cockpit with a very straightforward design aesthetic. A simple, structured aesthetic which matches form and function but is in no sense fussy. It's almost Scandinavian in its simplicity and purity of design. Everything is in beautiful condition, from the door card here through to the switch gear and the driver's seat. You'd expect perhaps to see some wear on the side bolsters here, but there is none. Sitting down into the 911, into this low hugging seat is a great experience, and immediately your eye is drawn to the dashboard with those 5 gauges presenting the driver of the 911 much more information than many drivers receive in modern sports cars. We can start the engine and take a proper look around the cockpit. The engine purrs into life there beautifully and settles down at 1000 RPM to that smooth tick over. So around the cockpit we can see this is a 2+2. There are 2 little seats there. The seat backs fold down to provide a very useful additional stowage area if you were off touring, for example. And if you needed to, you could just squeeze a couple of adults in there for a short journey. We've got a centre armrest with a useful stowage and auxiliary USB and iPod connectors. Manual handbrake, of course, much preferred by performance drivers. The PDK shift stick, this beautiful design with the trigger on the top, which enables you to select reverse, neutral and drive, and then in drive you can put it across into manual. And you have, of course, also the flappy paddles on the steering wheel. And one thing that's worth mentioning is that although this is a Gen 2 997 and was built with the gear controls on the steering wheel by way of push buttons, the last but one owner carried out a number of refinements, one of which was to fit this later model steering wheel with the paddles instead, which are much preferable. Down to the centre console, and we have the Sport and Sport Plus buttons, the spoiler button, PSM off control, the environmental controls, of course, with air conditioning, and we have heated seats in this car, vital for the British winter. Up to the infotainment system, which has a tuner for AM and FM, CD player, of course Bluetooth telephony, trip info and satellite navigation as well. Very fully featured, very clear and crisp. And over on the passenger side we've got this useful glove box with a CD stowage and also the very stylish Porsche cup holders which swing out there. You can put your cup in there, it's held securely, and they swing out of the way again when they're not needed. Up here this car has Sport Chrono Plus, so we have that beautiful installation on top of the dashboard with the clock and stopwatch. And then over here in front of the driver we've got that huge rev counter, the speedometer offset to the left as the inferior instrument. The more important thing in a 911 is how fast the engine is turning. How fast the car is travelling is a more minor thing. And you can see the car's just done under 46,900 miles, so it's clearly, everything about it says that this has been a weekend pleasure. It's been a second or third car, it's never been a daily driver. And everything is in beautiful order. The steering wheel is clean and smooth. There are no blemishes on that, no blemishes on the dashboard or interior upholstery at all. Clearly this car has been adored and looked after by its previous keepers. Let's switch the engine off and take a look in the frunk. If you're new to the Porsche Sports Coupe world, then it may be news to learn that the thing under there is referred to as the frunk, the front trunk. And it's released either with a switch in the cockpit or on the remote key fob. Then there's a little latch just under there, which is very easy, as you see, to move with one finger once you're used to it. And that reveals this large space. It's a deep hole there. There's plenty of room in here for a couple of large suitcases or for any amount of shopping or hold-alls, really. I've had a 911 as my own daily driver for a while, and I found it a very easy car to live with from this practical perspective. If you've got a lot to take with you, you can use the rear seat area, but I found that the things that I needed to have with me very easily fitted into the frunk at all times. And again, we can see this car is in great condition. Everything clean and tidy, no stains, no marks, no blemishes. And under these covers here we can see the brake fluid reservoir, And over there, the screen wash bottle, handily configured in the front area to make day-to-day servicing very easy. We can wander around to the back of the car and take a look at the engine. From the first design inception, the 911 was destined to be a rear-wheel drive, rear-engine sports car. And there it is, Porsche's six-cylinder, 3.6-litre power plant, a 24-valve engine, producing 345 horsepower. And driving this 911 from 0 to 60 in just 4.7 seconds through the PDK automatic gearbox, and on to a top speed artificially limited at 178 miles per hour. And those figures belie the fact that this is very much not a drag racing numbers car, but a driver engagement car. Sit behind that wheel and the connection between driver, machine and road is truly fabulously exciting. Again, looking under the bonnet, we can see that everything is in good order. The service history is very good. This car has just been to Northway, who are our local reputable Porsche specialists, and it has been serviced there. And also it's been treated to brand new rear discs and pads. And it's ready to go for its new owner to provide many years of driving pleasure. Looking in the passenger side of the car, and again, everything is very fine. The door card, I dare say, totally unblemished. The scuff plate, likewise, and this seat almost exactly as it left the factory, with no signs of anything amiss. And the same can be said for the rear seat area too. Everything there is in good order, the leather, the carpet and so forth, just as they should be. It really is a very beautiful example of the 911. It's worth taking a quick tour around this 911 to have a look at some of the features. For example, the beautiful twin stainless steel tailpipes. This car has rear park assist as one of the extra cost options. We've mentioned the 19-inch sport design wheels and the red brake calipers and those beautiful erosion pads on the rear wheel arches. Xenon headlamps, and usefully, if you've owned a 911, you may have had that miserable experience of trying to clear the leaves out of the front grille area. Well, the last but one owner, amongst various little refinements, fitted these metal mesh grills, which mean that you don't have to get your hands dirty fishing down there in autumn. Then in the cockpit, electric seats, which are also heated, Sport Chrono Plus, Bluetooth telephony, and satellite navigation with voice control as well are just some of the options on this car. So thank you very much indeed for watching. It's been a great pleasure to show you this beautiful 911. We're Sports and Touring. We're just outside Andover in Hampshire, open 7 days a week by appointment only. You're very welcome to telephone, WhatsApp or email with any inquiries, or if you'd like to see this car either in person or by video call. We can send you a link as well to the Google Drive for this car, where you can see important documents and high-resolution copies of the photographs, which you can zoom in on to see the detail. If you've got a car to dispose of, we'll give you frank and honest advice about the best way to achieve the maximum value with the minimum inconvenience. And if you'd like to chat about finance, we can do that as well. We're authorised and regulated by the FCA. Do please take a few moments to read our reviews in Auto Trader. I'm very proud indeed of how our previous customers speak about us. And I'll close by saying that I look forward to hearing from you very soon.